I came to bury Caesar.
Cursed spite that ever I was born to set it.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
This is the excellent foppery of the world.
There are Shakespeare moments in my life that had an importance to me in terms of career. There were some that had importance to me in terms of familial life, and some that had importance to me in terms of truly private, intimate relationship with the text. But I think probably the most influential to me was the first time I did a play in front of an audience, which was, I did Midsummer Night's Dream, and I played Nick Bottom in high school at Friends Seminary. My favorite part of it, I think, was people laughing at me. And it was the beginning of my understanding of the glory of being an actor. I don't think I really understood how much fun acting was until I experienced an audience laughing at me. And then that was it. And of course, the vehicle for that, for me, was Shakespeare. I think going to England, studying there for a year, was really enjoyable for me. There's a pragmatism to their theater training that I really valued. There's something about the American approach to acting that has an esoteric quality to it that sometimes is difficult for me to wrap my sort of conservative brain around. And there was a reality to a career in the theater there, that they had a legitimate theater that was subsidized by the government and that you could really work in the theater. Having said that, I really valued being an American at an English school with a bunch of English kids. There was this side of me that was dialed into all of that esoteric, naturalistic stuff that I really valued. But I also think that that's something that some people are born with or have learned from culture or family. That it's a thing about liking old things or relating to old things that I think is part of what makes certain actors and readers able to access the text and the language in a way that, doesn't feel foreign to them. I think a lot of people feel like verse, poetry, and iambic pentameter feels very foreign. Even prose, old arcane prose, feels very foreign. But I think that there's a certain kind of person, generally relatively nerdy kind of person, who doesn't feel arcane or foreign in that world, and I was one of them. And it was great because I wanted to do something that not a lot of my peers wanted to do. The salaries for classical theater productions averaged about $300 to $400 a week. Who wanted that when, the promise of riches that television and film brought, But it turned out it was a great platform for me, I really got introduced to the New York theater world through Shakespeare. But I suppose in this contemporary culture of speed and attention deficit disorder, things like Shakespeare and old forms that take time have become the underdog. And I think people always like to root for the underdog, so I think perhaps that I certainly got a leg up in my career from the underdog syndrome, which was that I was doing these antiquated plays and making no money for a very long time, and I underestimated how much that matters to people. And I think part of that was also my relationship to the public theater, in particular George Wolfe. And the fact that I was allowed to work for so long at a place like the Delacorte that provided free Shakespeare to New York City in such an incredible atmosphere. I gotta think that some degree of the success of my career comes out of a kind of universal gratitude for having participated in that and been allowed to participate in that. I don't know what it is that connects people so profoundly to this particular writer. And I think part of it is because the plays are so dense and they're so rich that there are a million interpretations and a million different, and I think people appreciate that range of humanity, and it lets them have a very, very particular and unique relationship to him. There's so little by way of invitation now to people for Shakespeare. And I owe so much, to this particular playwright and these plays that I feel not only that it's my responsibility to support and promote him as a writer, but I also feel like it's kind of my joy to do that. That it's one of the few things that I know I can rely on as coming from a place of good intention.